Hey yogis, I'm back. It's been a little bit of a break, but here we are, and I have a fun trick that I want to share. I've actually been practicing it all week, and I don't have it quite nailed down as one might like in order to present to you guys, but I also feel that being perfect isn't everything, and I wanted to share. And maybe you'll be able to do it better than me, and then you can pass that on to someone else, and wouldn't that really just be lovely? So this might look like a little bit of a fancy trick, what we're going to do, but really what it's about is training your brain to start thinking to get playful and to get loose and to move from one situation to another casually, and just get used to kind of being like, I wasn't ready, but here I am. I'm going to do my best. And if it doesn't work out, also being okay with that. So it's really about and just being playful, getting to move your body and try something, and also try something and maybe not succeed at it, and that's okay too. And then you just get comfortable being like, well, I try things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but I reflect on each one and I learn, and then I get better. So that being said, for props, you'll definitely need a block or a block-like item. Yeah, anything really that shape. I'm looking around my apartment, I see a small box, a container of cold brew, LaCroix, and then depending on your flexibility, I won't be using them, but you can either use a blanket for a boost, or even a couch cushion will give you a bigger boost, or even if you're really just looking to move and not, you can use like your whole footstool, really just give you a boost. So any kind of pillow or whatnot, whatever you have available. And with that, let's go ahead and get started in a child's pose, and grab one of your blocks and keep it nearby so that you can grab it in a moment. And go ahead, knees coming wide. Go ahead and walk your arms forward, and go ahead and relax your head down onto your mat. And then start to focus on your breathing here. Big, long, slow breaths. See if you can start to let your body soften and let go. Chances are, it's even though that you come into a resting pose, some of your body is still, holding some tension somewhere, and maybe in your shoulders, maybe in your hips, maybe in your back, trying to hold it all together. And just see if you can notice that, and start to give that area permission to relax and to let go. Breathing in and out through your nose. Letting each breath bring a little more softness into your body, into your mind. Reminding your body that you have everything you need right here, right now. And you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And then go ahead and walk your hands over to the left, keeping your legs and hips where they're at. Get a different bit of a side stretch. When you found your spot, connect back to your breath. Seeing if you can make each inhale and exhale last about 2 counts, if not more. But we could start moderate. And then you walk your hands back to center and walk them over to the right. And then once you find your spot, see if you can still be equally long through both the left and the right sides of the body. I know you can't quite do that, but if you can imagine it. hands back towards center, and go ahead and roll yourself on up and find your block, and go ahead and take a seat on it. We're going to take like a little boosted Malasana. So I'm going on the lower setting, but you could certainly go higher if you wanted to. Well, I'll try higher. And finding your feet, your squat width apart, and keeping your spine tall, your neck tall, keeping your hands in between. So we're still warming up here, not too deep, using the block as kind of an assist to come into your squat pose and start to open up those hip flexors, stimulate them and bring some blood flow there. You should have already been going a little bit from the child's pose, but and again, focusing on your breath in a slightly more active position. Continuing to bring softness into your body, even as it's starting to work a little bit more. Closing your eyes if you like, so that you can find your internal center. Using that deep core to keep your body in position. And then from here, go ahead and plant your hands and walk your chest out a little bit as if you were trying to do up dog while in your Malasana. Grounding down your feet to hold your hips in their same position. Meanwhile, using the slight pressure from your arms to keep your chest lifted. And then go ahead and walk your hands backwards. And go ahead and remove your block, and you can just set it off any old spot, it doesn't really matter, and make your way onto your hands and knees for some cat cows. So we'll just do some classic cat cows here to start. Sinking your chest, tailbone flicking towards the sky, head up, and then exhale, rising into your cat pose, rounding your vertebrae. Inhale to your, this one's cow, I always forget. And then cat, and cow, exhale, cat, inhale, cow. And then try to move your spine in a way that's kind of like a wave, so kind of more like a rolling from your cat. So rolling into your cat, and then kind of moving forward like a wave and sinking into a cow, and then rolling your chest backwards a little bit, back up into the cow. So it's more of a roll through the positions. And if you can picture each vertebrae having its own plan of attack, moving on its own, it's got kind of its own orbit, I suppose, so that you can get space in between each one of them. And then we'll try these barrel rolls sideways, so we'll go both directions. I'm going to the right first. But again, barrel roll, rolling your whole rib cage up and around through cat, sort of cat pose, and then down in a cow from left to right. Do that a few times, seeing if you can find the absolute furthest range of motion in each of these areas. Kind of dusting out the cobwebs in some of those motions that maybe your body doesn't hit all that often. And we're just gonna get there now and loosen in, and then barrel roll the other way. So I'm going there's a million ways to describe this, counterclockwise, clockwise, I'm not really sure. Just as long as you hit both directions. It's Friday afternoon for me. I don't know which way you're going. Just make sure it feels good and that you hit all the possible angles you could think of. All right, and then go ahead and walk your left hand forward a couple inches and weave your right arm underneath the left, letting the right side of your cheek land on the mat. And then once your shoulder and cheek are on the mat, walk your left hand forward. Come into a nice stretch. And then walk your left hand back in. Plant your left hand and rise up. Unravel the right arm and walk the right hand forward just a couple inches so you can weave your left arm underneath. Bring your left cheek down. Walking that right arm forward. So you make some nice unraveling to the upper back there. Weave out those sticky spots that have been probably holding all the thinking you've been doing all week or whenever you're watching this. Working so hard for you, and now it's time to go ahead and let them go. And then walk your right hand back in. Use pushing down to press back up and weave out of that. And then go ahead and curl your toes and press into your downward facing dog. And go ahead and walk it out a little bit, paw the ground, one step, either step, just kind of, again, working out any cobwebs in any of your joints or anything sticky. And then go ahead and think about your hands here and see if you can visualize pushing equally down through all 5 fingers and the palm of your hand so that all the weight is really evenly distributed, and therefore then it becomes easy to even push upward a little bit and get some lift. And then go ahead and do the same with your feet. Even if your feet don't touch the ground all the way, whatever surfaces are touching, try to evenly distribute your weight between them so that again it becomes kind of like a lift. So you're pushing down into the ground with your body weight, but also you're able to lift back up, and so the pose can become lighter into what you might have heard it as the resting pose. And then we're going to go ahead and take a little calf stretch. So wiggle your left foot in towards the middle a little bit and take the right foot and just kind of curl those toes around that left calf and see if you can get a nice little stretch there. If you want even more, just again push through your hands a little bit or lift up into them. And then just really picture that calf muscle and picturing it lengthening and becoming more active. And really its own kind of star player and not just one of the many leg muscles. And then plant your right foot down next to your left and curl the left toes around the right calf. And again, same thing here. Visualize all that length and space in your right calf, becoming longer and healthier, more agile. And then go ahead and unwind from there. And go ahead and step your right foot forward between your hands. And you can lower your knee if you like. Otherwise, keep your hands on the outside of your foot. And gazing forward, really try to bring your chest through your arms so that you get a really nice long left leg. Really long hip flexor there. Gazing forward. And then on your exhale, go ahead and straighten both legs, coming into a pyramid pose. And then inhale, chest forward. Exhale, long right leg. Inhale, chest forward. Exhale, long left leg. And then just flow through at your own breathing, your own pace. If you want to stay in the poses a little bit longer, you're more than welcome to. If you like moving through them to really lubricate those muscles and bring some heat, you are also more than welcome to do that. There's really no right, no wrong. And then the next time your chest is forward, go ahead and step your left foot forward to meet your right and step the right foot backward so you're in a long lunge on the other side. Again, chest coming through the window of your arms. Really seeing if you can push your right heel back towards the back of your mat. Get a long hip there. And exhale, straighten both legs. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, forward. Exhale. Inhale. Again, moving at your own pace. Just noticing what feels good to you today. And whatever feels good today might not be the same thing that feels good tomorrow. Just flow. Enjoy the process. Trust the journey. And then next time you feel ready, go ahead and plant your hands and step your left foot back so you're in a downward facing dog. And we'll go ahead and walk your hands back to the back of your mat so that you're in a dangle, Pickling pose. And you've got lots of options here. You can kind of do the being the tree in the wind and just loosen, continue to shake things out. You can interlace your hands behind the back of your neck and dangle. You can interlace your hands behind your back. This one's a little bit more intense, but you got lots of options, whatever feels good. And then go ahead and roll your body up one vertebrae at a time. Come into a full standing pose. Roll your shoulders back, get that good posture. And come and walk to the front of your mat with your feet close together. Hands coming into your prayer position. And go ahead and set an intention for your practice, for your day. One that I read recently that I really liked was that I am open and available to receive all of the love that the universe has to offer. I think remembering that love comes in many different packages and forms, and maybe small amounts, large amounts, and just remembering that there's so much out there for you if you believe in it. All right, let's settling that inside into your heart, into your brain so that you believe it. And go ahead and on your next exhale, circle sweep your hands up towards the sky, gazing towards your palm. And then exhale, circle sweep down, bring all that energy inward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, go ahead and step back towards your plank pose, lower into a chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then take a breath here and go ahead and look towards the front of your mat. Step, walk, jump, whatever, make your feet towards the front. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, circle sweep your arms up to the sky. Exhale, fold all that energy back down towards you. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, go ahead and step, jump. Make your way back into a chaturanga eventually. Upward facing dog. And then downward facing dog. Go ahead and take another breath here, set in. And then go ahead and hop, step, walk to the front of your mat. Do an inhale, forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up to the sky. Exhale, bring your hands back towards your chest. And then we'll go ahead and move into our sun bees, where we're going to start to practice one of our first skills. So go ahead and drop your bum coming into chair pose. And again, this is focus on your dorsiflexion here. That's one thing we're going to be trying to work on. So that's the bend of your foot with your toes coming towards your shin. Mine is not great, so don't use that as an example, but that's the skill we're going to be working on. So again, picture those long calves and grounding down through all four corners of your feet. And then on your exhale, release your chair pose, come into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands and make your way back to a plank, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, and lift your right leg up towards the sky, and looking between your hands, step it between your feet, grounding your left foot down, rise up into your warrior one pose. Take a breath here, feel the pose. Exhale, plant from your front foot, step back, lower to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. This time, take your left foot up towards the sky and bring it forward between your hands, rising into your warrior one. Seeing if you can open your pelvis, open your hips, gazing forward. Exhale, frame your front foot, step back into plank, lower to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And go ahead and make your way to the front of your mat, however you like to do that. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise your arms up, coming into your chair pose. And this time we're going to go ahead and Keep lowering your bum to the ground. Eventually you're gonna come down to a seat, but see if you can go as slow as possible, keeping your feet planted. And then make your way down when you can get there, and we're gonna work on our deck squats. So go ahead and roll back on your mat, and then you wanna try to catch the roll up. So that's where we're going. And obviously if that's difficult, which it is a difficult trick, you can grab any of your boosters. I will show you, make it much easier. And so you just sit down onto whatever boost you have, and then we'll pop right up. So that'll be up to you. I will stop using this, but now you know how to use the trick. And again, even if you're kind of like, man, I still don't want to do that, I'll show you. You can even go full-size furniture. You're still getting the same. You can roll back and then stand up. You know, everybody has to start somewhere, so no shame. Do what sounds good to you. But now you got your skills. So say you're coming back in your chair pose, you need to wait all the way to the ground, roll back, and then see if you can catch your deck squat, and just do a couple of those. Sometimes they go great, sometimes they don't, but really it's just about moving your body and having fun. So whenever you are done with that chair pose, go ahead and come into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, make your way to a plank. Lower to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right foot towards the sky, look between your hands, plant your foot, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, come back down and make your way through a vinyasa. Right foot high, between your hands, warrior one. Exhale, frame your foot, over to chaturanga. Inhale, and then make your way back. And again, make your way to the front of your mat. And go ahead and halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, rise up into your chair pose. Hold your chair for a moment, gather your composure, and then go ahead and lower yourself all the way to the ground as slow as possible. I can only imagine that, some people can do a narrow squat, so I can only imagine if you keep doing this, one day you'd get there. Slow, slow, slow. Working on that dorsiflexion, and then drop when you can't. Roll. Try to catch your squats. And give that as many whirls as you like. Make your way back up into a standing pose. We'll go through that one more time. So go ahead and let your arms sweep down behind you, and then rise back up, sinking your bum into a chair pose. All four corners of your feet equally pressing down, core tight, tucked in. Connect back to your breath. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, make your way back to a vinyasa, plank, up dog, down dog. Right leg towards the sky, between your feet. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, through a vinyasa. And then left leg towards the sky. Bring it between your feet, rise up into your warrior one. Exhale, back through your vinyasa. Go back in a downward dog, and then gather your breath. Make it to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Sweep your arms to the sky towards your chair pose, and we'll try that one more time. So keep your feet flat, lower your bum as far as it will go. Slow, slow, slow. Slow, slow, slow. And when you just can't make it any farther, don't let your bum drop. Roll all the way back and try and catch in your squats. And these are the kind of things that are achievable. I could not do them at one point, and now I can, and that's great. So, all right, now you're in a standing position, hands towards your heart, and we'll go ahead and come into a regular Malasana pose. If you want to use your block again, I think I'm going to start like that to rest and recover a little bit. Again, just getting into those hips. So just enjoy your open, mobile hips. If that's not how you think about your hips currently, I recommend trying to start thinking about your hips as being mobile and open. And you know, if you form that identity about yourself, if you continue to say that, you will become that. You know, your thoughts shape your life, and you have the power to have comfortable open hips if you want. So now go ahead and wiggle about 2/3 of the way on your mat, staying in your Malasana pose. Again, you can stay boosted on the block if you like. And then what we're going to do here is go ahead and plant your hands, kind of, you know, wherever they fall is really fine. You know, comfortable distance. And then go ahead and shift all of your weight in towards your palms, sticking your butt up to shift even more weight. And we're going to come into like a push-up type of situation. So whatever you can, we're really just trying to activate arms and core. So it really doesn't matter how far you go. If you want to come all the way, head towards the mat, you can. I find when I do that, my knees are pushing in towards my arm to boost, but I think you can go farther out and it might be easier. Yes. So just kind of play around. Again, it's there's no right way to do this. You can even stay close and just rock forward. It's really just practicing the weight transfer and hips to shoulders. Yeah, you know, they're hard in different ways, closer and farther away. So give those a try. Rest in Malasana when you're done, when you feel thoroughly warmed up. Reconnecting to your breath. And then go ahead and make our way into downward dog. So bring your hands to their spots. Bring your feet to their spots. And gather yourself here in a center downward facing dog. And take your right leg up towards the sky and bring it between your hands, grounding your back foot down. We'll circle up into warrior 2. And we'll just get comfortable here. So you'll have your right knee at a right angle as best as it can. And then your pelvis will be turning out towards the side while your head gazes forward. Shoulder blades coming together behind your back. Mind staying calm. And then go ahead and bind your hands behind your back. And what we're going to do here is this will kind of automatically push your your chest forward and your low back into a cave. But what we're trying to do is try to think of keeping your core hollow while bringing your hands behind. And you might not achieve it, but just think that way and see if you can. Just see what happens to your body. If you can think chest open, belly tight. And then go ahead and release that. Come face forward. We're coming onto the ball of your back foot so that you're in a crescent pose just for a moment, and then drop your back knee. So you're in a lunge. And then just go ahead and rock back and forth here. Loosening up that hip joint. And then come into a half splits pose. So right leg is straight, and think about leading here with your chest so that all the sensation should be here in your hip. And then go ahead and walk your hands over to the outside of your right leg. Get a little more IT band action. Again, focusing on your breath now that we're slowing down a little bit. Your breath has so much power over your body and keeping it calm and regulated. And then walk your hands back towards your front foot. And toe your right foot in a little bit and go ahead and lift your back knee and see if you can move all the weight forward into that front foot so you can come up into standing splits, or standing right angle is what a lot of people call it, because yeah, that's just where we're all at, Again, sending oxygen into that right hip. Mine's on fire. This is one of my problem spots, so I can totally relate if you feel like you're dying right now. Then I'm gonna have to come out at least. So drop your back leg. If you want to stay up a little bit longer, you are more than welcome. If not, we'll take a little crow practice. So come down onto the balls of your feet and wiggle your triceps, or your knees in towards your triceps as best you can. The higher up, you'll be able to get more of a grip. And then plant your hands and just start to shift the weight from your feet into your hands, rocking forward until you're on just your big toes. And maybe you can lift them up and you can float here, maintaining your breath. And come out, keep practicing. You can also put your feet on a block if you like. And again, honestly, just the weight transfer is enough. If you're not flying in, no worries. But sometimes this makes it a little bit easier. You just have less far to go. Anyways, play around. It's supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun, then go ahead and stop. And after that, we'll go ahead and do come into a forearm plank here. So elbows should be shoulder width apart, and then come up into your forearm plank, and really trying to keep your belly tucked here. Imagine as if you were like a puppet, and the place that the string was attached is along your spine, in between the bottoms of your shoulder blades, and kind of if somebody were pulling you up from right there. And that's where the cave should be, the arch of your spine. And then go ahead and drop your knees and walk your hands back a little bit, come into your downward facing dog, and we will do that on the other side. So left foot into the air, stepping it forward between your hands, cartwheeling up into your warrior two, and finding your warrior two. So front leg as close to a right angle as you can get. Pelvis turned out towards the wall. Gaze forward. Arms out wide. Shoulders down your back. Shoulder blades pinching together as if they could hold a pencil in between your shoulder blades. And a couple big breaths in through your nose and out. Using this moment of calm to send oxygen all through your body. And then go ahead and clasp your hands behind your back again. First come into a nice little chest stretch. And then once you've kind of gotten that motion opened up, then try to think of the hollow core and the open chest. And again, they're contradictory, so that's why it's good to try to think of that. But maybe it will get your spine a little bit taller. Well, everything will be a little bit stronger, more integrated. All the parts working together. And then let go of that. And come onto the ball of your back foot, coming forward into a crescent pose. And go ahead and drop your back knee. And we'll go ahead and just rock back and forth into this lunge here. Keeping the joint nice and easy. And coming into your half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. Again, leading with your chest. Keep your spine long. and all the hinge comes from that hip. All right, and then walk your hands to the outside of your leg. For a little more IT band love. Just waking it up. Hello, IT band. How are you? And bringing your hands back forward around your front foot, and go ahead and plant that front foot down. You know, get a good grip on the ground, and coming onto your toes of your right foot, lift your knee up, and kind of shift all that weight forward into your left foot until you can spring off and rising up into your standing splits. Trying to let your head hang easy, while at the same time the left leg lifts up, springs up. And whenever you're ready, right foot down to the ground, meeting the left, and go ahead and find yourself in a more central position on your mat. And we'll take another go round at crow, Bakasana. So knees into your armpits on your triceps, and hands planted kind of in your down dog position, and take flight. Another secret to this pose is also it's a lot of lifting. Sometimes when you're newer, you kind of just like sink into it and kind of let things collapse, but it's really about lifting. Your arms are lifting, your shoulders are lifting, your core is lifting, your feet is lifting, your feet are lifting. So really think of everything kind of up, and that's the best secret to that one. So now we're going to practice all the pieces to the party trick. So we've actually practiced most of them with our deck squats and our crow. So what we're going to do, well, first let's take a plow pose. So make your way onto your bum. And again, you can use your cushion for this. If mobility is tough, honestly doesn't matter. Just moving your spine. Again, the final poses never matter at all. It's really just about the motion and about keeping your body moving. So come into plow pose. So bring your knees towards your chest, and then lift your butt up towards the sky. And a full plow pose will be feet touching the ground, coming onto the back of your neck like a very good thyroid stimulator, and then kind of straightening your legs, and again lifting. Again, if you're here, if you want to, there's furniture, you know, like you can put your foot on furniture to rest. But wherever you want to come to, find your spot, and then really visualize your breath and your oxygen coming into all the different vertebrae in your back, bringing them space, energy, loosening up all those things. I really notice this pose, if I go a while without doing it, I really notice that all these back muscles really tighten up. So maybe that's where you are today, and that's okay. Ooh, okay, coming out. Oh, that's off talking while in plow pose. Ooh. Tight air passageway. So, I will show you the game we're gonna play here. Let wiggle back. So we're gonna go from plow, rocking all the way up into your crow pose. So now that we've practiced all the pieces, I'll give you the full demo. Let's hope I can pull it off. So we'll roll up into plow. Yep, and that's how it goes. You know, take your time with all the transitions from one to the other. You know, it doesn't matter how much time you take in between, because that's part of retraining your brain. Your brain has probably not done these things altogether or even considered it. So you just are like, well, let's try. What does that feel like to enter it from having just done these other things where, you know, flipping your body up and around in space is really kind of wonky for the nervous system. But so I'll go ahead and give it one more try so you can see. Rock back, come up, catch, roll onto your toes, plant your hands, and then lift off. And if you want to go farther, you can go into headstand from there. So I think you can do that. Now we're really moving through all planes of space. So then you can come here and we'll come out. So that's the game. Take a few minutes to work on that. I'll drink some water and yeah, play around. Again, use your props to roll up and down if that's helpful. If you want to just give it a go, I promise that all these things, if you keep working on them, your body will figure out what body parts go where and how to do this. It might take some time, but you will get there. And if you don't, it's still a good way to play around. And you know, my friend and I were just talking about this, how important it is to just keep moving throughout your life. You know, so much of our modern lives is so easy to become sedentary. And so what a better way to move your body than playing around with all of this. So I'll go ahead and come into a hip stretch and force you to keep practicing that. I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing, you just keep practicing. And then in a minute or two we'll lead into something else. All right, we'll go ahead and take our inversion. And since you've been playing around with all that nonsense, we'll do legs up the wall, or you can put legs on your furniture. So just go ahead and bring your bum next to the wall and put your feet up it. And then palms up towards the sky. Again, letting softness come back into your body after we ramped up with all the fun and games. Come back to a centered place. Those full breaths, bringing life into your body. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and walk yourself out. We'll go ahead and take double pigeon. So also known as Forearm Pose. So go ahead and take your right knee with your shin kind of parallel, and then take your left leg around it with flexing both of your feet to protect your knees. And so then your two legs should be parallel to each other, kind of like fire logs sitting on top of one another. And maybe your knee starts way up high, and that's okay. Just be gentle with your hips. That often happens to me. It starts out tight from other activities that I do, and then I can usually fold into it. But to start out, you have to work your way gently into the deeper fold. You never want to push it, because if you push it, it will come out on your knees, and you don't want that. So just acknowledge that your hips are doing this to protect you if they're staying tight, and respect their need to protect. Acknowledge it, love them for it, and they will start to soften and give you some more space with time. Go ahead and settle into your double pigeon, folding forward. And then walk yourself back up, lean back a little bit, unwind your legs, and redo them. Left leg on the bottom, right leg on top. And come parallel. And again you can even go ahead and like lift your butt cheeks up a little bit to get them more aligned. And fold forward as you are able. If you're not able to fold forward, just hang out where you are and just continue to breathe. And maintain your space. If you need to back off a little bit, you can back off, but try not to exit the pose altogether. Try to find a spot where you can stay and you can live. And you can give your hips that softness and that space. And coming up and out of that, we'll come into a wide-legged forward fold. So take your legs wide, start with a tall spine, and then just walk yourself forward. Breathing easy. And then go ahead and walk yourself back up. And go ahead and make your way into a Shavasana if you like it. We've already had several resting poses, so if you would like to just move on to your next activity, please feel free. If not, you can go ahead and rest. Either way, hands towards your heart. I'd like to thank you for practicing with me, yogis. Have a wonderful day. Hope you had fun. Hope this party trick will serve you for laughter and fun and getting blood flowing through your body. Namaste.